cold air hangs over Rogers Center like a held breath. The lights are off. The seats are empty. But somewhere deep inside the front offices of Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays are very much awake. This is what ambition sounds like in winter. Not the loud crack of a bat, not the roar of October, but the quiet, relentless hum of phones buzzing, contracts circulating, and futures being weighed in silence. Toronto is coming off something that lingers. A World Series run that didn't end in a parade, but changed the way the league looks at them. Runner-up isn't a banner. It's a scar, a reminder that you were close enough to taste it, and far enough to feel the loss all winter long. And now, the Blue Jays are moving again. Not recklessly, not desperately, purposefully. The headlines tell one story. Dylan Cease, 7 years, $210 million. A statement ace. A declaration that this wasn't a fluke. That rotation depth is no longer a question mark, but a weapon. Cody Ponce, the Korean star with electric velocity, brought in not for flash, but for October nights when a single pitch can change everything. Tyler Rogers, reliable, surgical, calm under fire. The kind of reliever contenders collect like insurance. On paper, it looks like smart business. In reality, it's something else entirely. It's the architecture of belief. Because while Toronto has strengthened the spine of its roster, the heart of this offseason still beats in the batter's box. And it's there, between anticipation and anxiety, that the real drama unfolds. Kyle Tucker, Bichette, Alex Bregman, Kazuma Okamoto, Ketel Marte. Names that don't just fill lineups, they shift gravity. John Heyman called the Blue Jays the second biggest winner of the offseason. Not for what they've already done, but for what they're about to do. His phrasing was telling, almost casual, almost confident. Their biggest move may be yet to come. That sentence hangs heavy. Because in this market, silence doesn't mean inactivity. It means positioning. It means leverage. It means waiting for the moment when one decision collapses the board and forces every other team to react. Kyle Tucker's free agency, by Heyman's own words, mostly remains a mystery. And in baseball, mystery is never accidental. Tucker's camp has seen the numbers, seen the rosters, seen who's built to win now, not someday. In 2025, Tucker didn't just produce, he defined balance, power, speed, consistency, 22 home runs, 25 stolen bases, a presence that bends defenses and changes game plans. From a strictly analytical standpoint, he's the most complete option on the board. And Toronto makes sense. Too much sense. But then there's Bichette. The familiar question. The emotional one. Bichette's numbers still echo. 181 hits, 94 RBIs, a heartbeat in the middle of the order. He knows this city, knows the pressure, knows the promise. He wouldn't need to convince anyone, wouldn't need to adjust. The chemistry is already written. So why hasn't he signed? Because decisions like this aren't transactional. They're existential. They ask a player not just where he wants to play, but who he wants to be remembered as. Alex Bregman offers something different. A colder edge, postseason scars, championship muscle memory. Okamoto brings raw power and intrigue, his posting window closing as contenders circle. Marte represents versatility, adaptability, the modern game's Swiss Army knife. And lurking in the background, quietly complicating everything, are the Boston Red Sox. 10 trades. No free agents signed. A market predator waiting for the right moment. Heyman linked them to the same names: Bichette, Okamoto, Marte. This isn't coincidence. It's chess. Toronto knows this. That's why the small moves matter too. Pitching prospects with elite velocity. Power hitters who defend aggressively. Depth pieces that don't trend on social media, but win games in August. These aren't afterthoughts. They're reinforcements. They're how organizations stay standing when injuries hit and narratives shift. This offseason isn't about panic. It's about control. And the Blue Jays have it. They don't need everyone. They need one. One bat that tilts the field. One decision that turns belief into inevitability. Tucker, Bichette, Bregman, Okamoto. Any one of them changes the trajectory. And the league knows it. That's why the waiting feels unbearable. Because fans sense it. That moment before the door swings open. That pause before the announcement drops. That realization that the team you watched fall just short might come back sharper, meaner, ready. Toronto enjoyed their World Series foray, but they didn't mistake it for the destination. Winter doesn't ask for noise. It asks for patience. And somewhere in that silence, a choice is being made that will define the next chapter of this franchise. The lights will come back on soon. The air will warm. And when it does, we'll see whether this offseason was preparation or prophecy. What do you think the Blue Jays are really waiting for?